Muy buenas chavales, bienvenidos y bienvenidas a otro vídeo para el canal. ¿Qué tal estáis chicos? Qué raro se me hace mirar hacia aquí en vez de hacia allí, que es donde normalmente tiene la cámara. Pero es que he cambiado un poquito la distribución y esta pantalla la tengo muy girada y como que la cámara apuntaba para allá. Entonces he dicho, voy a poner aquí, así os tengo delante. Aquí tengo, digamos, el gameplay que estáis viendo vosotros. Y bueno, acostumbraos a esto porque se va a quedar así. Espero que os guste. Y nada, es que nada, pedir disculpas por no haber podido subir este vídeo ayer, ¿vale? Pues este vídeo sabéis que se subió ayer, pero he tenido problemas en mi vida diaria y no he podido grabar, ¿vale? Así que no estoy grabando esto el sábado por la mañana para que lo veáis vosotros el sábado por la tarde. El siguiente vídeo de la DBD League lo veréis el domingo, o sea, DBD League, perdón, Mundial el domingo, y el siguiente vídeo del Mundial lo veis el lunes, ¿vale? Así, pum, 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 uno detrás de otro para que el fin de semana estéis entretenidos. Así que nada, perdón por no haberlo podido subir ayer, pero es que me ha sido imposible por fuerza mayor, ¿vale? Y nada, así que en el partido de hoy vamos a ver a SERAPH contra NOKRON, el equipo de los españoles. Aquí ya vemos a Zaka de Killer contra SERAPH, equipo norteamericano que va en noveno puesto, ¿vale? NOKRON va en tercer puesto, por más que NOKRON le pegue una señora paliza a SERAPH, pero oye, quién sabe, que a lo mejor SERAPH se lleva alguna ronda y puede poner un poquito nerviosito a NOKRON y llevarse una sorpresa. Nunca hay que infravalorar a otro equipo porque tú estás arriba y él abajo. Nunca jamás, porque cuando lo infravaloras, ¡pum!, te gana, ¿vale? Eso se ha visto a lo largo de la historia en multitud de juegos y de deportes. Así que, nada, la primera partida vamos a ver Plaguita, ya sabéis que son máximo 4 partidas. Por ejemplo, NOKRON le mete 2-0 a SERAPH y luego SERAPH le hace ¿cómo se dice? Un switch, o sea, devolvérsela y le meto un 2-2, ¿vale? Entonces sería un empate, ¿vale? Así que máximo 4 partidos. Si alguno de los equipos llega a 3 victorias, pues obviamente acaba. Así que nada, máximo veremos 4 partidas y mínimo 3 partidas. Así que vamos al lío. Plaguita va con el addon de tener más tiempo la puerta corrupta. Un addon es que te cagas está muy muy fuerte. Y la manzana verde para tener otra fuentecita más en la partida. Y va con erupción, tanato, gancho fragilante, retumbante y intervención corrupta. Nada, los 3 perks que son tier S actualmente de motores, y tanatofobia que funciona muy bien con la plaga porque normalmente están todos dios heridos. ¿Y quieres estar todos heridos? Perfecto, pues vas a reparar muy lento. ¿Que no tenéis que ver tanatofobia? Pues uno de vosotros se tiene que limpiar para darme a mí el poder. Así que Tanato, después de los cambios, va muy bien con la plaga. Diría que es el único. Así que nada, vamos al lío. Se juega en el mapita que se juega en una zona o en otra, y lo que veremos es que la plaga o esté aquí o esté allá, ¿vale? Así que vemos a qué ocurre.
Season, and no team has a perfect record. That would be exciting, but obviously NOKRON doesn't agree with me here, and therefore Zaka will try with Adiris to make the perfect performance here on the suffocation pit. And someone was asking earlier, a nice person called Rocco, if we can shout him out or them out on the stream here. We can do that. Rocco, you are really cool. And with that, we're going into the first trial of...
Lo que ha hecho es infectar se me hace muy raro mirar aquí. Lo que ha hecho es infectar un motor, ¿vale? Es lo primero de todo, infectar. Se deja sin infectar a todos los motores, digamos, del sur del mapa, y se pone a buscar los supervivientes porque sabe que por aquí están todos. Todos están aquí pululando, por si infecta a uno, el más cercano. El resto confía en que no van a pasar de momento porque él está vigilando ambas zonas, ¿vale? Muy bien hecho.
Our amazing matchup here.
Yeah, and better set to start us off than your
Muy interesante, infecta ya la ventana porque sabe que por aquí va a haber supervivientes.
favorite, right? Plague, of course, the killer that
Y aquí ya tenemos supervivientes, así que perfecto.
you love so dearly, and it's I mean, a killer that we see quite often, at least so far in Season X, but in general in comp, on Suffer Pit 1.
Cuidado con el de frente de este armario, mucho cuidado, aquí puede haber un de frente.
A map that's highly
Ya está infectando, ya está reparando.
scrambled. And first chase onto Zaphis already. We've seen pretty standard things. He's going over to the top side to set up his infections, and he's got his first chase. One of the things...
Muy bien, y le deja. Se me hace muy raro, siempre estoy mirando para allá. Así que juega con la plaga. Plan un poco pasivo. Infectas a uno, te vas a por otro. Infectas a uno, pam. Y cuando ya los tengas a todos infectados, ahí es cuando comienzas a jugar.
About Plague
Pero no puedes perder todo el tiempo en infectar a uno al 100%, ¿vale?
is having that good early setup to get your power sort of moving, spreading those infections. So of course, when you take that first corrupt purge, the survivor team are really having to play super careful, and quite often we see plagues falter when they don't get that setup coming in. So I'm going to be looking very closely at how this early
Le ha
game
visto,
goes
obviamente.
and how SERAPH can really combat that.
Ahora.
Now here, the pukes coming in. How quick can you get Jar to the broken effect? That's the question here. Loop is not optimal for Jar. We do not have a lot of line of sight breakers.
Muy bien, aguanta el palet. Es el único palet que hay en esta zona. El único, como se palet se tire, esa zona queda desierta, así que lo aguanta muy bien.
You can just go and puke there. Zaka was hoping that the Cells effect might come in, but Jar has in fact 40% more on the sickness
Buen medium por parte de Zack.
meter, if you want to call it like this, and Jar
Palet de Zack a la primera. Eso es la hostia para el killer, la hostia. Gracias al...
getting a little bit bamboozled here. Nice mind game there. Was waiting a little bit too far towards Zaka. That's going to be the drop of the Shack Pallet now. Important resource. Leaving the trial. The other survivors grinding the generator. Socks my socks, and Zaf is gonna get the first objective out. Always a good feeling when you get the first gen without taking it down a hook stage yet. On the other hand, it is kind of expected as and against the Plague here. So, but Zaka definitely fine with the 3 injuries, I think. The Thanatophobia looking strong there towards the later trial. He does, however, not really aggressively sticking to one survivor yet, which is an approach that we have seen on the Suffocation Pit before. He kind of careful.
Si os fijáis, todo el rato la plaga estando el lado malo, siempre el lado malo, siempre el superviviente que se quede aquí atrás. Por el caso de que tire el palet y que se lo coma, se va a quedar ahí encerrado, porque si se lo come y el superviviente está aquí, se va todo el mapa, ¿vale? Entonces aquí la plaga, muy hecho, siempre el lado malo.
Hopefully wants to pick the good first chase to get a good down, and it seems like now we are back onto Jar, and I think with this generator, yeah,
Muy bien, le viene la ayuda, perfecto, aquí
we have a 3-gen down here. Definitely wouldn't be the worst chase to pick, but
aquí habría que infectar a Acid un poquito.
it's interesting that Acid is coming in as a protection
Esto no cuela ni de coña.
here.
Se ha tenido para la derecha.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be dying in that 3-gen if that's something that
Efectivamente.
Zaka's going to be protecting. So I'm assuming
Eso
that's
no
why they
va a dar.
went for the body block there, and it worked out. Acid actually avoiding an infection from that body block too. I'm going to take it now, but preventing it earlier and actually protecting Jar. That first chase going up into the top side, there was only really that pallet to work with. So good survivor coordination there to get him out of that dangerous area. And Zaka's not really able to build any momentum currently. We now have the 4th infection going, so that's going to be four stacks of Thanatophobia applied. And we found our first next chase onto Suck My Socks on the back on the top side. Got balanced landing, going to be keeping him safe for just a little bit longer, and just actually creeping a little bit closer to him.
Ese lado nunca se lo va a dar, ¿vale? Porque aquí tiene la ventana.
Holding at this pallet, not going to give him the window for free.
No llegas.
Does he make that? No, nice mind.
Ah, bueno, sí llegaba, pero aquí muy bien Zaka por apoyo.
From Zaka to go through the window,
Muy bien.
and that's going to be a down onto Sock My Socks, and we have 2 gens going, 3rd one on the way, Dire.
Lo bueno que Shock by Sox ha caído en la otra parte del mapa, así que perfecto para el equipo de SERAPH.
Well, that's almost 4 minutes getting the stats in there. 354 for the first down. That is a very long run from Team SERAPH here. Shout out to Toby, our tournament analyst, !Discord, in order to join the community and take a look at all of the stats from perk, pick rate to hook stages and survivors and much more. And you can also ask him questions directly. Back towards the
Pero por agilidad, pues
Shack here. Acid is going to be the next one in chase. However, with a great perk usage here, making sure that no danger is taken. Zaka faces a lot of difficult
Ahí
pallets
tendría
against him. A lot of filler pallets have
Jungle Gym más ventana. Pues aquí el suplente tiene una buena zona, ¿eh?
Spawn down here on the suffocation pit, the midsection here with the jungle gym into the window. Definitely a
imposible.
pretty
Muy
disgusting loop that you are not happy about. Zaka already setting up the email towards behavior there.
Qué pena, chaval.
Trying to get some more generous spawn, an unfortunate asset, not granting
Pero aquí era muy difícil dar un M1, ¿eh? Era una zona muy fuerte para Superior.
the down here. That's going to be a nice stun and a very important stun as well. You need that
Hostia,
distance and you need that safety. But
Mana
Ja
cagada.
leaving the generator a little bit too late.
Cagada de ley es gigante, no sé por qué ha ido hacia la puerta.
It was potentially expecting that he could get it done and then hesitating. And that's usually not a good move. Unfortunately, going down
Gancho flagelante, veremos, lo necesita como el come.
right next to the generator with a lot of progress that might turn out to be punishing. And we see that the survivors, therefore, not willing to grant Zaka the slowdown on that perk. Fake coming in here on the window from Zafis. Worked half. That's going to be the ball.
Muy bien, Zaka aquí. Se ha esperado muy bien esa vuelta y ha venido para la puerta.
Double vault, but Zaka sees the double vault. And what does Zaka do? He triple
Le ha pegado patada al motor, ¿vale?
moves back and forth, dancing around the shack here, taking the down. In the meanwhile, quick pick up because Zach, if we would have had a double
Muy bien aquí, Ja, que no tira el palete y sigue full doble.
down here, that would have been absolute bad scenario. So we can kind of breathe through. It's looking a little bit better again.
Pues no le ha dado patada, porque si no estaría el motor amarillo. No le ha dado patada.
Yeah, I mean, Seraph really
Tiene una fuente ahí maravillosa.
trying hard to break that 3-gen that Zaka so desperately needs to defend, especially after his weak early game. Only securing it down after the first 4 minutes of the match.
Hostias.
So,
El Zafis aquí en el sótano va a hacer partida de 5 estrellas.
but, you know, that was looking very, very dangerous, and Zaka would have really have loved that little scenario there to play out in that 2-slug, because it gets 2 hooks in basement, and then you're basically setting your team up for a 4K1 basically. But that's how that would have spelled out if they didn't manage to get out of the situation.
Esto es un fallo de espectador, ¿vale? No está ahí la plaga.
But that is, I wonder if that's a spectator bug.
Bug.
It is, yes. We had a bit of a spectator bug. Zach is not face camping. He's over there checking that corner gen that Jar was trying to work. But yeah, so now the tempo is sort of moved into the favor of Saka. This next chase is going to be important because they're going to be looking to try and get the save. Also, again, just pushing these gens either side of this bottom side. So it's going to be a game of chess right now, I think, Dio.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, right? Because I feel like that wasn't needed. That Seraph is now in this situation. I understand why Ja wanted to really get the shack generator out of the way, because we now see what Zaka can do with a hook down here and the 3-gen right next to the shack.
Y ahora se la rescatan. Ahora tienen que rescatarla porque si no, no va a haber otra opción.
It is dangerous. Suffocation Pit is known for the 3, potentially even 4-gen
Yo me cogería la fuente del tirón. Ya.
that can spawn here. So I get the idea
Zafis bajas on the stage.
here behind getting that generator out of the way. I unfortunately just think that a little bit too much risk was taken in order to achieve
Pero vamos, ahora es imposible, ¿vale? Ahora sería un suicidio, literalmente, y derrota para su equipo.
that. And if it would have worked, they would now probably already walk out here. But with that risk being taken, it can also backfire in the same amount. And I feel like that's the case here. And I feel bad for Seraph because it feels like they are getting, pretty harshly punished for an originally good idea.
Viene Shock My Socks.
Yeah, you just have to think that maybe they could have played it a little bit safer. I think be forcing grab here, maybe giving chance for the unhook to come through, which it does, forcing the grab so that he can't slug. And Zafis
Ahí le vemos con erupción al otro superviviente y esto será un gancho flagelante.
is going to be able to safely make it out of basement, but it doesn't look like this will be a basement hook, will just be hook
Y todavía le queda casi la mitad del poder, para que veáis, por este addon, por este addon.
next to logs here. And we have information on 2 survivors. Suck My Socks getting pretty close there, almost in range of a swing. But compared to that last hook, they saved Zafis from elimination.
Hola,
We have Acid on hook now in a much safer position. But
hizo
someone's
gancho.
been found here in the corner. And if
Uh.
actually wait, no, he's juking on the Z wall.
Ooh.
Oh, he actually still has power, just a tiny bit left of power.
Spits on an alt account?
Maybe, potentially. Is that gonna land?
Bueno.
It is. Oh,
Con el último frame, con el último, por el lado en este, si no, no.
last second down. Just getting that last bit of armor, not being able to use the tree to actually dodge it out. But
Gancho flagelante y ya está.
yeah, a hook comes through onto Acid. Now we have Jar hooked by this gen that he's trying to work, and yeah, this is really. I do wonder if we get a bit of an overextension here on the killer side. Yeah, very nice quick
Si os fijáis, va por el camino de las suturas para que no se le cuelen tan fácil por aquí, ¿vale?
hook coming through there to protect the
A veces renta dar una pequeña vuelta en vez de ir directo hacia el motor, ¿vale?
teammates, and Zach is really, you can see he's really worried about these gens. He did ingest the
Ese motor no le queda mucho, ¿eh? 2 patadas, te diría, y creo que ya está.
corrupt purge on that bot
Porque pensaba que cada patada es una erupción, así que cuenta por 2.
side pool, and I do wonder if he has anyone close, another one close by, potentially to get a bit of a snowball rolling. But now the survivors seem to be back on their feet a little bit.
Yeah, when we look at the trial as a whole, right, after this almost 4-minute first chase where SERAPH was
my God.
performing really, really well, they have really chosen these T-balls here today. But after that almost 4-minute duration until the first down has come in,
Creo que era el gancho flagelante.
it was shifting the responsibility onto Zaka. Zaka was now in need to
Están preparando muy bien 2 y 1, están haciéndolo muy bien ahí los supervivientes.
get a good mid game. He was in need to get some downs. It was his responsibility to bring NOKRON back. And now that has shifted, and now it's kind of SERAPH in the responsibility to pull efficient gameplay here, to stay alive long, to run towards the top side, which is another aspect here. SERAPH is just not able to. Zaka is either forcing trades or he's ending these chases so
Se lo hacen, se lo hacen en otro motor.
quickly that they have no chance going towards the top side of the suffocation pit here.
Hola,
Zaka is doing really well in calculating how much time the survivors have. Unfortunately, he's not as much calculating how long the final generator takes. So that's going to be the next hook stage onto Jar here in exchange for that final generator.
Muy bien el equipo de SERAPH, ¿eh? Muy bien, lo han preparado muy bien.
And now we have to leave Jar behind. We cannot no longer control this hook stage here because the gates are on the top side. Will be interesting to see if Acid, Sok, and Zaphis decide to even go for that save. Power
No sé qué hace aquí.
coming out. So
Volviendo.
dangerous end game coming up. They are going for the save. Absolutely understandable and a good decision if you ask me. They do have the time. Zaka has been spotted on the top
Quizás
side here.
muerto.
No, exit gate going to be open. Actually, we've got our teammate, but because he is, whether Zach can
mira.
actually find.
Está aquí al lado del saque en esta zona y la plaga lo sabe. Recordad que las puertas están justo, están las dos en el otro lado, ¿vale? Tienen que pasar por aquí.
Find this rotation. If he finds the rotation, he can secure some extra stages. SERAPH are going to have to play
Lo
this
sabe.
pretty carefully because he is probably quite aware
Sabe que aquí hay un superviviente. Qué listo está acá, ¿eh? Qué listo.
that they are on this side of the map, right? As we see right here, Acid hiding. Does have the life to work with, so that is a bit of a lifeline for him.
Because he's Assassin's mode.
Los otros le están esperando por si tienen que ayudarle, básicamente, ¿vale?
We see the second exit is ready to go. Yeah, I said the timer
Ya hay cuervos, claro. Está mucho un rato quieto, cuervecitos.
running up there. And he has a crow. Yeah, that's rare to see. Usually we see the survivors, dropping the item in order to be considered active. And he
Hola,
has
disfruta la foto,
the
lo
Z
que
wall, of course. Can he make it?
Tiene agilidad y lo sabe, Zaka. Lo sabe. Por eso está al otro lado de la ventana.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so we are saying goodbye to Acid, ladies and gentlemen, here, and kind.
Pues muy bien, ¿eh? Muy bien. Gracias a esta muerte solamente se gana la partida. Ha sido muy importante esta muerte. 3 cuelgues, 6, 8, 9 cuelgues. Muy buena partida, ¿eh? Muy buena partida con la plaquita, la verdad. Vale, vamos a la siguiente. Para aquí.
Alright, so I set like this, but these survivors,
Esta vez ha empezado la plaga en el lado contrario.
of course, are very experienced. They've played this set, I'm sure, hundreds of times over their competitive careers. So if there's anyone to beat a result like this, it's definitely NOKRON survivors. But yeah, now Certify going into the bot side of the map in his corrupt zone. Does look like he has a bit of a 4-gen here, so that is one of the things that we, I guess, didn't talk about is the RNG, because you can sometimes get very close, concentrated generator setups, which also makes it very easy for the killer to find. But Ivan's now been found on the David with the green mohawk.
Aquí renta ir en plan full W, ¿vale? Pues si es lo que pegas el vómito, te ha metido la vuelta atrás.
Around this loop. Someone made a comment in the background, maybe it'll be a bit harder to see him in the affected state, but gonna take vomit.
Bueno, quiere decir que están Zaka, Iván, Zinux y Marcos, en plan bestias, ¿vale? Sobre todo para mí Zaka y Iván son mis favoritos. Zinux y Marcos son muy buenos, son unas bestias también, pero para mí Iván y Zaka están a otro nivel.
And an injury relatively early on, but we're chasing the corrupt zone, which is about where you want to take your first chase. Just gonna wait.
Se ha esperado por si la plaga no entraba al sack, me imagino.
At the Shack pallet, drop that one and continue chase around potentially. No. Scratchbox actually going around the coal tower into the mid map. And we're about 60% of the way through corrupt. Ivan now taking chase for his team. Again, we had about 3 minutes and 54 seconds on the first down last time. So if you're potentially...
por cierto, va con mismos specs, pero doble manzana, ¿vale? Para tener 3 fuentes en la partida.
Actually looking at a comparison, if we can get this early down, it's going to set Certify up quite nicely for this first set, I think.
Yeah, that's a great chase so far.
Aquí, aunque te tires el palet, o sea, es un buen predador, pero aunque te tires el palet con el poder de la plaga, no es normal que caigas también, ¿vale? O sea, es muy difícil aguantar incluso en esta estructura.
Ivan here, we will have to see if that's going towards the 4-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen. For now, we remember...
¿Ves? Es muy jodido.
Remember what Ivan always says.
El poder de la plaga es extremadamente fuerte.
When he's on the 1v1 ladder, 3 fillers, 3 minutes, but unfortunately that was even a jungle gym included and a chase time of 1:41. So the strategy of the legend unfortunately not working out in this first chase. That's a huge advantage for SERAPH. That's basically 2 minutes difference already, which is the equivalent of a whole solo generator that lays there in the chase time. So fantastic start conditions for SERAPH here. They're looking very strong with that first down. However, Zaka and Zynox making sure that the pressure is going into the generators. One of them has now the responsibility to rotate over. Nice switch from Certify here. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to puke on that one survivor, but now he will get an injury onto Zaka. We also have the infection there now transferred from Ivan, so that's going to help with the thanatophobia as well. How quick can we get the down here? We, on the chase time, purely talking about chase time, we basically need a strong chase from Ivan now to balance out the 2 minutes difference that we have from the early game. He has the pallet in the jungle gym, here has to drop that and Certify. Going to break that pallet, you don't really want to mind.
Fijáis, él quiere ir hacia esta zona, ¿vale? Porque en la otra zona están rapando a sus compañeros, no puede ir bajo ningún concepto.
Game here, you can lose a lot of time if that pallet is staying.
Muy bien, Tinox en ayuda, muy bien.
Unbroken, that's the third survivor coming in now. Zynox also taking the infection, but the team
muy bien aquí.
now basically showing the same strategy as we have seen beforehand, making sure the hit is taken, a little bit of assistance, making it.
Muy bien, aquí el equipo de NOKRON le han hecho perder un tiempo sustancioso gracias a la ayuda de Zinux. Bestial, muy bueno.
Towards the main building and a little bit of that.
Y obviamente aquí no le interesa. No le interesa lupear porque le están haciendo los motores de la otra zona.
Saloon vibes, right? The main building in Suffocation Pit has the power to really waste time. Also, the generator setup on the bottom side. That's a little bit of a loss here for Certify, giving up the pressure now, but he has to. He cannot follow into the main building if he wants to keep the generators. So I think this is the correct, yet a little bit of a sad decision.
Yeah, I was going to say they've given up pressure on the gens to protect Ivan there, but that's so huge for them because I don't believe Ivan went second stage. Zaka managed to get the unhook for free. Only one stage had passed, and then the team came in to protect him to get him to the safest area of the map.
Vale.
And so, whilst, maybe you give up some of that gem pressure, you're actually giving your team, you're sort of saving the efficiency on the gens, which is going to pay off later on into the game. We do still have 3 stacks of pain resonance, and now Thanatophobia is in full effect, so that's also going to help Certify.
O sea, Zaka está bien jodido, muy jodido. No hay Panther Sack ni siquiera. O sea.
He's going to ingest the corruption. We've still got, well, we've got 4 injuries on the board with the infections. And yeah, now it's going to, we're going to see the survivors running over to the top side, but someone still is up here around this water tower.
Esa torre de agua, recordad que es muy buena meterle una vuelta aunque sea, porque el killer no coge blulas, no coge nada. Entonces parece no, pero las metió ahí 10 segunditos sin blulas.
And whatever pressure Certify can secure right now, it's going to be good for him. We see the chase being continuously taken over here into this pilot gym. Is that going to hit? No, it isn't. The M2 just misses out. We do
Muy bien, habéis visto cómo se cubre con el árbol, brutal aquí.
have a bit of distance here, a lot of trees in the way to block that power from coming in, but don't have enough distance to make it to main, so this is likely going to be a down. No one's obviously available for the hit because they're all injured. That's going to be Zaka going down, Eruption proccing on 2 gens, but again, they're just taking chase so far into this top side. Certify is eventually going to lose out potentially on that setup on the bot side if he doesn't make it back there in time.
Yeah, the question is now, what strategy is the next step for Certify? Will we see Zaka being the new tunnel out target, trying to enforce that? Will we try to get back towards Ivan here and progressing through the stages? And also, how much risk does Certify want to take? How much will we move towards that midsection, above and across the suffocation pit mid-equator, we could say, towards the top side? That will be the decisions now. Certified definitely having a good generator setup for himself as well, can definitely work with that. The difference so far
Pues está lupeando en la zona que no se ve lupear. A ver cómo sale aquí Marcos.
is we are not getting this one
Qué buena, qué huevos la ha hecho.
very punishing hook stage straight inside of this gen setup. So this could potentially be the chance right here. Marcos only having this drop pallet. We do not have a
Muy bien, se queda en esta zona para volver al palet.
healthy survivor who could come in and take a little bit of assistance. So if we are
Pero ya le he recortado bastante distancia, si os fijáis.
bloodlusting here a little bit, we should get the down inside of the generator setup. The counterplay
Bula nivel 2, no llegas.
possible would be that NOKRON is going to take the generators out in time. One
Muy bien hecho este motor. Muy bien.
of them for sure, the one in the distance there, but Marcos unfortunately not being able to run longer right next to the chase.
Ese motor parece no, pero era el más cercano, ¿vale? Había aquí 4 motores que solo ha venido a Certify y ha tenido mucho mejor NG que en este caso a sacar la anterior partida. Pero el hecho motor más cercano ahora queda uno bastante lejano. Entonces quedan 3 motos de la misma zona, sí, pero han hecho el mejor de todos gracias a la persecución de Marcos, que lo ha hecho en la zona apropiada. Muy bien.
A lot of pressure here, but no greed this time. NOKRON learned from the punishing mistake that we have seen on SERAPH, leaving early towards safety. But one survivor actually remains down here, has a filler pallet, but a little bit of the same scenario. NOKRON has to go for the rescue already.
Aquí error de Zynox, a droparle muy temprano. Yo no miro para atrás.
Done that, but this is going to be a down, but they might get this gen done. I think we have to slack. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch so much how progressed that was. Looks like it's about 70%, 80% of the way. Like you said, way too far to leave unhooked. And Marcos is not going to make that vault.
Están jodidos.
Dying in the same fashion as Zynox over there. And this has now turned into a bit of a sticky situation. If you do have Zynox, you have to rotate to
Zynox se deja para después por el gancho flagelante porque es suyo.
pick him up, so you only leave one survivor potentially for the save. It looks like Ivan's working that gen, but not going to be able to get it done in time. Second stage for Marcos, so Certify has a bit of time. They potentially might have to. Oh, I don't know. They're coming in for that unhook.
Justo cuando pega la patada le rescatan. Muy bien.
Yeah, they do make it, but the longer the chase goes on,
No llegas.
normally goes down immediately, which is, I guess, good
No tenía nada igualmente, no tenía nada para lupe.
for Certify. Eruption going to proc on that? And they're actually sticking it. Does that mean they're going to pop
Al menos dar la ventana al Killer tiene que dar un poco de vuelta para colgarte, básicamente.
it in time? No, they don't pop it. This is actually so close there. If they don't pop this gen, it could be really devastating. We do have that gen that Zyrox was working on over in the far corner. So, I mean, that one's being currently
Qué momento más
like
sexy.
not focused on. So that could be another sort of way for them to win this. But
Aquí hacía falta mucha templanza, pero es un palet bastante difícil de jugar, la verdad que sí.
Van's going to die, but we're in the mid map. So equal distance
Este motor hace mucho que no va, ¿eh? Hace mucho que no va.
between these two gens. Is there enough time for Certify to make it over there and stop this? He still has one stack of payments to be used, but look at how high this gen is. They're just splitting the map now, and you don't have that survivor dead. So ultimately, they just split these gens, and eventually,
Que os fijáis, no hay palets. Está este de aquí tirado y ya está.
eventually,
No hay palets.
you will concede it. But it's just about how many stages you can get in between now and then. Xanox going to be taking this. This is a Scorchuk, so this, I believe, might be the last stack.
Sí, ahí está.
It is. It is, so that's going to eat into that gen. 20% flat regression, and we do have a survivor here lurking, and this area is very unsafe.
Muy bien aquí, Zaka.
On the TNL here, that's not the tile where you want to take one of the most important
Muy bien,
chases
Zaka.
of this entire set. How long
qué
can
bueno.
Zaka stand? How much pressure can we get
Están reparando ese motor, ¿eh?
into the generators here? Certify realizes that is too long. There's a generator here in the corner where the survivors are already swarming around. Certify needs to make sure that
Mira, Iván, cómo tiene motor. Lo tiene a 3/4.
they are not sneaking in the back. Ivan is doing exactly that. 75%. There he is. That's going to be the chase towards the edge of the map. The other part of this side of Suffocation Pit is already progressed as well with Zaka.
Ha cogido la fuente Certify y saca instantáneamente su todo el motor. En plan, no quiero saber nada.
On 65%, now pulling back as well since the power is taken. Could be a chance for the survivors to pull back. Yeah,
Y hacen bien, ¿eh? No se puede jugar contra el poder de la plaga de Dios. Es imposible, ¿vale? Es un suicidio.
they're doing it inside. I feel like Nokron's coach. They're listening to me. Jeez. But they are pulling back into the main building, and I think that is very smart. Unless Certify realizes
Se han venido los tres para acá, qué locura,
that
chaval.
all of them are doing this and then following them. And I think that is exactly what happened here. Confident that no survivor is sneaking in the back, but
Yeles ha vuelto, chaval.
that might be a miscalculation. Zaka is still in the midsection.
No tiene puesta la erupción en los motores, ¿eh? No la tiene puesta.
Now back on the generator while Certify living in the dreamland, think
Qué momento más sexy de Marcos, ¿no? Ahí esquivando, agachándose.
that all survivors are here on the main building. No idea how that wasn't a down, but Marcos
¿Veis? La erupción le ha aplicado al otro motor. A este no.
taking that, and he picks, ladies and gentlemen, he picks. There's a generator on the bottom side, near to completion, and he picks. Yeah, what? Are we chilling now? That's
Nah, brutal. Brutal. O sea, brutal. No sé si va a matarlos a todos, o va a matar a 2 o a 3, pero el que se haya ido 3 para allá y él se haya metido por aquí, Sneaky, a hacer este motor porque el otro estaba con la erupción, pese a que el otro estaba más avanzado. Estaba más avanzado, pero ha venido a este porque era el que no tiene erupción. Nah, brutal. Está en otro nivel.
going to be Nokron taking that final generator out, and that should be enough to get the stages out of the door if they're playing this right. Certify, too confident here. Hopefully we can make a speed run.
Yeah, this is dangerous. Xanox is on that gate over there, and Zaka has the positioning, but this is going to be 2 survivors out. It's going to be enough. I feel for Certify
Iván está jodido, porque está encerrado en esa zona.
This is so
because
sad.
he picks there, but there's no guarantee.
Para Cinoxizada que tienen que limpiarse las fuentes, intentar ayudar.
Yeah, I guess that he makes
la
it
única
to the
manera.
gen in time, so I feel like as soon as he commits to main building there, it's just done, right? It's from that point onwards when he's taking an extended chase so far on that side of the map, and you're not getting the down instantly onto Marcos. I guess I feel like that was a bit of an overcommitment.
Yeah, someone in that team needs to sit down with the killer and certify the strategy, because it was again nice idea.
Mi pregunta es, ¿no hay fontes por aquí?
Yeah, right? It was so good, but only with an if, and this if was unfortunately if all survivors would have been in the main building, but that you not only, I mean, at some point you should realize the fourth survivor is missing, right? We didn't see Zaka at the main building, and then downing, but then picking and basically
Cuidado la trampilla, recordad la trampilla, ¿vale? Está Saka ahí, cuidado.
handing these final seconds towards the survivor team. I think that was one step too much. How much can we get here? The lies to Zynox taking it. Zach, that's gonna be 3 people out. That should be enough.
No puedo gritar, ¿vale? Pues están mi serie, mi hija durmiendo.
Should be enough. It is enough.
Brutal, o sea, brutal. Brutal. La comunicación, la compenetración. Nah, una de olla. O sea, es que haya jugado mal. No, pues que han jugado ellos muy bien. Han jugado exageradamente bien, vamos. O sea, no os puedo poner un error. Han jugado perfecto. O sea, cuando los momentos juegan perfecto, pues pasa lo que pasa. Nah, brutal. Una idea de olla. Una idea de olla el nivel que se trae esta gente. Vale, siguiente partida con el payasito. No me para el desguace, ya sabéis que aquí lo normal es hacerse 4K, ¿vale? El payaso es muy fuerte, exageradamente fuerte. Aquí están todavía las botellas moradas muy fuertes, ¿vale? Todavía no es el payaso, las botellas amarillas. Y nada, va a convertir a veloz, el agarre del dragón, gacho flagelante y evolución. Va a ser interacción corrupta, no es necesario en este mapa, es un mapa estilo cebolla, a ver, te la puedes poner, pero no es útil porque con el payaso normal que tienes a alguien bastante rápido. Doble botella para hacerte fuerte con las botellas moradas, ¿vale? El mayor porcentaje de entorpecimiento y te dura un segundo más de entorpecimiento. Así que nada, a ver qué tal. 2 perks de uno para consoteo, para ser más rápido, y 2 perks de motores.
Seraph would have deserved that first set if the plague would have ended differently with a set point for Seraph. I think that would have been fair as well. So hopefully the clown will be a good set for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're talking about momentum quite a lot in matches like these that are quite close, and of course Certified just losing that set, now having to play killer again.
No llega.
I do wonder how his mentality is going to be coming into this one.
Muy bien aquí, Iván.
Takes the pallet smack in the face. Ivan not going to worry too much about that one. But we're already out of bottles. This could be a hit.
¿Ves?
It is. Oh, that's right
Es que te deja muy parado.
on the last pixel as well. Oh my goodness. You're not going to be happy about that one if you're Ivan, I suppose. But he does make it to Shaq. Bit of an anchor point for this map. A point of safety. We're just going to drop Shaq pallet instantly, and now he has the safety of potentially making it to another filler. Looking at the build, we've got Rapid Brutality and Dragon's Grip. 2 perks that really do complement Clown's kit, especially when you have the danger of that exposed status
Ya no lleva la
into
primera,
the
eso
game.
hay que hacerlo sí o sí
And
para
that's coupled
aguantar,
with
si no estás
Res
jodido.
and Eruption, so
Y en este pared está muerto, ¿vale? Aunque lo tires, está muerto.
definitely a different set compared to what we've just seen. We're going to break that pallet, and could look like it's leading to a down. You don't have enough safety here.
Luego.
And just dying as far away as possible. That's first gen popped, and Ivan goes down.
Muy bien, 2 motores, muy bien.
We do get a second generator in the distance. Was about to mention that. That's why I waited a moment. I would have been worried if the second generator wouldn't have been there in exchange for that first chase, because the time definitely speaking towards it. 127, and knowing NOKRON and their individual split in the early game, that's good to see that it's going to be a second objective here as well. Still relatively okay, I would say. 127 is nothing you need to be sad about when playing the clown, and Certify also hitting
Aquí quiere ir hacia una zona segura, allí no se puede quedar, por eso se va un hit gratis.
the purple bottle directly there. Someone has the gaming chair with the game sense. That could be potentially a very fast 2-tap almost onto Zaka if this mind game works out. But Zaka now proving patience, not going to take the vault, and Certify opting to go back. That's very understandable. 3v1 as a clown is making things a lot easier. Ivan not able to move around the purple bottle there, so it's going to be an early hit for Marcos. And then a little bit unsure where Certify is. That
Aquí Iván no sé por qué ha venido por aquí, no tiene ningún sentido.
should be the hit. Yeah,
Aquí
that's a
mal por Iván.
good move now. That looks good. Almost the instant rehook onto Ivan. Zaka and Marcos injured, so either they heal, so you gain some time on the killer side, or you can be sure that not too many survivors will come in for the body blocks. I like what I see. Certifies in a good spot.
Yeah, and getting that down so fast after the first one, crucially, he gets that stack of pain resonance after those first 2 gen spots. I mean, it wasn't on the top side, but he's able to slow down the gens even further. And we've got 2 injuries on the board, so it's good going into this mid game now after the first couple of chases to have the elimination so close by, and especially Clown, who really excels at I would say tunneling 100%. He definitely has the tools to do it, and rightly so, showing us how it's done. Ivan now, we're just looking around to see the reset coming in, not revealing that until just now, 99 each other. It's a very, very common tactic used. Now healthy, and we're just going to be securing this death, it looks like, now that Certify knows that they were resetting. Maybe feels like he has enough time to just camp this out, and should take us into the 3v1 with maybe not a little bit of jump pressure, but we're still at 3 at the minute. Xanax probably working that third one whilst
Tío, pues yo no sé hasta qué punto esto es bueno, porque estos suben de 7 motores, pero bueno, si ellos confían en que pueden hacer los motores, allá ellos.
2 are resetting.
Pero lo van a tener complicado.
We'll have to see as we now make our way across the map. Ivan's going to be saying goodbye to the Clown and Wreckers Yard, and we are left with Zynox, Zaka, and Marcos.
Certify, all according to plan, basically. Can make a tick on the to-do list behind first elimination and 3 survivors. That is some confidence gain right there. When you get your first survivor out of the game and you look down there, wait, 3 gens remaining and I'm a clown? That looks like a good trial for me. So Certify absolutely
No tiene por qué ser rota. Puede ser luego un empate o...
coming in. Good to see that also, that this unfortunate ending in the plague set didn't do too much on his confidence, and still going into this trial on the Wreckers Yard. Absolutely proving that they are a great clown here. Zaka going to take the next chase. We have the little bit of a speed. Oh, 2 survivors here running into each other a little bit. So that leaves only Marcos on a generator. Okay. And that leaves only Marcos on the generators right now. That's not the biggest amount of progress, Zach.
yeah, sí.
No, they had one on the very bottom of the map there that was quite highly progressed, and the one that he applied eruption to. We'll see Zaka going down here is going to proc that, but yeah, it seems like they played it a little bit slow, and that's a second smack on the wall in a row. Unfortunately, Certify going to be collecting metal to build his own base, but maybe build another shack or crane. I'm not sure what he's choosing, but Zaka going on the chase of his life right now. We have Marcos about to pop a 3rd gen. That would have been one at the bottom of the map, so
Botella a un lado, payaso por otra, y ya está, ya como el pollo.
that's 1 less gen to be erupted. Stynox 50% on another, and we're playing this.
Muy listo aquí, Certify. Tiene una botellita tal, pero se viene por esa zona. Muy bien.
Broken truck. I mean, Zaka will go down, unfortunately, but he's bought a lot of time for his team, Dyer. A lot of time. Stynox on 60% on that gen.
Vale, le han hecho un motor y el segundo está en camino.
Go for it. Go for it.
That chase was unfortunately too long.
El chofer antes lo va a ayudar mucho.
I was about to say, after this nice elimination, and also not only how long the chase took, but also where it lead us, right? In the corner of the map, far away from the gens. Now Zaka can basically be rescued for free. We cannot really interrupt the survivor immediately. There is some extra pressure right here, but this allows now for the reset onto Zaka, and then most likely 3 healthy survivors. We definitely need a quicker down in the next one. We cannot have Zaka showing us around Wreckers Yard like this again.
Yeah, 2 survivors in this far corner, but again, that's probably where they want to find themselves. that Shaq gen was very far, the other one in the corner that they're working, but they have 3 gens with relatively decent progress and only 2 to pop. So I want to say that this next chase will probably decide the game for us. You can see Zynox there, behind that tile, and they're positioning themselves quite well, but there's a Certify can cut off this rotation, but where is Marcos? You have to wonder where he is. There's definitely a survivor on this bottom side or closer to, and it's really about gaining that information to know your limits, I suppose, and trying to close off this game. Zach is still injured, so we're not seeing an immediate reset. But yeah, it seems like the game's slowed down a little bit. The survivors don't really want to reveal themselves.
Nada.
And Certify is trying to find out where they're starting. Zach can now reset. Looks like that was going... They were going to safety, but if Certify was to guess, it would probably be in this corner, maybe. Hasn't found anyone yet, and they're stealthing this out pretty nicely, I would say, Dire. But yeah, positionally, what's going through your head right now if you're Certify? Like, well, am I playing a game with 3 survivors? Where are they, man? Oh, there's one. Now it looks like it's going to be Zaka. Taking a quick injury, caught out of position a little bit, but now we're going towards the Shack. We don't have the same sort of distance we had before. Shack was thrown earlier by Ivan, throwing a bottle at the window, but look at how fast he is. I don't think he makes that, Zaka. It's going to be going down on the pallet. At least there's someone here for the save. Oh, that was not quite. No, so that's going to be Zaka going down. And
otro gancho flagrante. Yo creo que como mucho lo hacen un motor más, como muchísimo.
Crucially, Dire, we now have a hook in the 3-gen.
That's finally changing the things for Certify a little bit, because now you are not giving them a free.
De hecho, si os fijáis, tiene déjà vu, pero no está pudiendo hacer los motores. Están en el motor en el que no tiene bonus de reparación.
Unhook and a free rescue. Now you are able to monitor the hooked survivor. You can force a trade. You can at least injure the rescue before going into the tunnel out with Zaka, and you have the generators in reach. Much different gameplay now for the killer here. Can be a lot more confident, a lot more control over what's happening, what's possible from the survivor side. Looking strong in that regard, Certified, but here we see it straight next to Zaka, keeping an eye out for the rescuer and getting some regression into the generator. Yeah, he did spot the survivor over there, I feel like, but does decide to follow pretty far away from Zaka's unhook now. We will have to see if that's not potentially backfiring here onto Certify, because Zaka and Marcos, they can go for the generator that he just left. Now he has to slug over here. That does pull one survivor into the corner. That does force them into wasting some time. Okay, it actually worked out because he made it back in time. Good play then from Certify. Good calculation. I mean, that's always the difficult decision you have to make, right? How much time do I actually have to follow one of these survivors, and before I will turn my back on the survivors and get basically all the generators immediately thrown around my head. So Certified proving, I feel like, a good feeling. How much time is on the clock? How hard can I commit? And how quickly do I need to down these survivors before I need to go back? I like to see that. Next injury as well, forcing NOKRON potentially into a full pullback and a reset, which will only lead to regression on the generator. Beautiful play.
Yeah, I want to say he kind of put on his running shoes there after that down onto Zynox. He had the 15% haste with the combination of his yellow bottles and his rapids. So, I mean, this is a bit further. So you can see Marcos 60% on that gen. Is that enough progress? But this is a fresh hook. So this could be a scorch hook right here.
Sí,
is it going to be another stack of pain res? Yes, it is. So... Oh, it doesn't look like it hit that gen, actually. So they've got 2 really far. They're actually, I think, closer to the end game than we actually thought.
Está más rápida lo diré, la persecución, ¿vale? Más la persecución que haya el superviviente, ¿vale? Más rápida fue de Seno en 22 segundos, me acuerdo. La vimos, me acuerdo, madre mía, eso fue increíble.
But Zaka's there,
22 segundos
already in that
potentes,
corner,
lo que dura la cama,
positionally
básicamente.
playing that perfectly.
Oh, Dios mío, 22
And
segundos
it
de puro
looks like
placer y
now
control.
the survivors are taking complete control. Zynox playing the positions perfectly and committing those 2 survivors to the gens. Zaka securing
El Tino 8% está haciendo partidaza, la verdad.
the pole.
Como Johan, más o menos igual.
That's going to be Zynox taking a second stage,
Ostras, pues la
but
hacen
looks like it
1%,
might be punished with the
Muy
last
bien.
2 gens potentially.
Bueno, esto gracias a Zinox que se ha puesto a lupear allí sin haber sitio de lupear. O sea, este motor se ha hecho gracias a Zinox, así que muy bien. Pero bueno, ya está, vale, hasta aquí. No van a hacer el último motor.
That's one at least.
I just realized I said the other 2 survivors when Ivan's dead. I don't know what I'm saying.
Hay paleta en el autobús, creo que es el único que queda.
Christ. Me thinking there's a 4th
It's okay,
survivor
you
on the
only-
track. No, I just have to chuckle at myself. for
It's
that one.
okay. It's okay. You're an Ivan fan. You don't want to believe that the legend already
actually
died.
his
It's okay,
ghost,
Zach. Will.
His ghost is blessing
Yeah.
the trial. His three remaining teammates. The David with the
Sounds
green
like
mohawk.
sounds like some haunted grounds, but let's see if Certify
God.
is speeding back. Look at that, he's speeding back towards Janok. Wants to get the pressure back in.
Qué bien ahí, muy bien Certify esperándose el de frente, muy bueno.
Janok's complete. Oh! Yeah, hello? Was that a head-on? Was that a
Muy
head-on
buenas.
attempt? Is Nokron now going for a strategy where you file a letter and then you
Porque ese de frente muchos de nosotros no lo hubiésemos comido, yo incluido.
register your head-on attempt at the next state office and 3 business days afterwards it's happening? I hope that
Pero muy inteligente Certify diciendo, vale, aquí está o el otro superviviente que no lo estoy viendo, pero está aquí. ¿Dónde está? En la taquilla con el de frente. Así que Certify muy inteligente.
wasn't something like that we witnessed here.
Y para que veáis que es el killer del penúltimo equipo, Y está jugando muy bien. Con la plaga juega muy bien, solo que bueno, le han ganado, pero bueno, pero está jugando también muy bien.
Here, we will have to call the video referee on what was that attempt with the locker there, but
Vamos, no ha cometido errores, prácticamente, os diría. No ha cometido errores.
It's like my public game attempts to get the killer's attention. Like, look at me, I'm in a locker. Come get me. Don't tell my teammate. Not unfortunately able to protect Xanax there. Now we're in the 2v1, and that last gen did not get completed. So I'm going to be thinking maybe the 4K one secured, especially with Marcos being found injured, but Zaka taking the scream from the dragon script. It was.
Sí.
Yeah, it does take that first thing, but they're stealthing out. And I swear I heard
Ese perk para andar rápido es la hostia, para esconderse.
Zaka scream, but there's no exposed on the UI, so I really don't know, to be honest. Marco's still injured.
yeah, quick. I need to real quick. I cross-check that with our archive in the background. It is actually Marcos with the hat on. So it was the attempt right there, but we are also getting informed that there's a little bit of a bug. So yeah, we will just drag it against Marcos here. Marcos, you have to now show us a fantastic chase when you are up next in order to make up for that. Until then, we will have team
Ha saltado lento, muy bien.
captain Zaka taking the responsibility here. Hopefully
Le ha pillado con el carrito de lado.
long enough that Marcus can go for it. Does take the vault here. Will take the injury, now circling around the fun bus here. Is that going to be enough, ladies and gentlemen? Marcos is on the gen potentially, but that's because the survivors haven't finished all the generators. So the only
In 4 matches
Y ya
so
se
far,
entrega.
average.
Ya está, se ha entregado básicamente, ¿vale? Obviamente no puedes escaparse por la puerta de salida, están muy cercanas. Vale, pues vamos a ver la partidita de ataque de
ladies and
killer.
gentlemen, welcome
Vamos a ver qué
back.
tal.
Sometimes
Va con el add-on de tener un segundo más, no, perdón, 3% más de velocidad de movimiento con las botellas amarillas y el add-on de entorpecimiento, meter más porcentaje de entorpecimiento. Va con Carnicero 8.0, la ha cambiado por ¿cuál era la que tenía el otro colega? Ah, sí, Brutalidad Veloz. Para mí, Carnicero, a mí me gusta más, sinceramente, aunque Brutalidad Veloz es muy buena.
OPS doesn't
Pero con este 13% de días amarillas ya es suficiente velocidad, ¿sabes?
wanna work the same way as we do. We promise that we will say thank you to a lot of people that support.
Pues le pueden hacer como muchísimo 4 motores para el empate. Con 3 motores, victoria para el equipo de NOKRON.
Season X, and that thank you will come.
2 suplentes aquí, eso es un problema para ellos.
It just wasn't this break. Apologies for that, but
Muy bien, aquí os fijáis, se va para el extremo y ¡pum! Vale.
sometimes DBD League is up for surprises, at least behind the scenes.
Respetados brutales.
Zaka taking the responsibility on the killer side. Who else, really? Right? We talked about the NOKRON team card at the
Muy
beginning.
buena.
Zaka with a phenomenal
Una queda equilibrada, pero la pilló a tiempo.
hook stage average of 8.4 there across all the... Oh, look at that
Yeah.
beautiful bottle ahead
Esto lo hace para que cuando pegue el sprint sea más lento, ¿vale?
of the survivor before taking the injury. That seems like a very dangerous
Ya que solo tenía una botella, es la mejor manera de usarla, al fin y al cabo.
discount.
Yeah, I mean, he found 3 survivors at the start. I can't remember, I think he spawned down the bottom side, but immediately went over to that crane corner,
Bien,
finding 3
objetivo.
survivors. So
Bien.
really good information for Zaka there. Stock's taken that first injury, but we're already moving so fast across this map. This early game is going
Yo creo que esas botellas no hacían falta, pero bueno.
at about 100 miles an hour. Jar running off into the distance, and Zaka smells other survivors. We do have
Vale, se ha dejado herido, se ha metido la garra del dragón a este motor, bien.
Sloppy Butcher actually being used for a bit of healing slowdown compared to the difference in last game, replaced by the Rapid Brutality, I believe it was. So just a small difference in the builds there that Zaka's taken
No.
advantage of,
Ahí,
and
mal enemigo,
actually
¿no?
cancels out that swing, knowing he's not going to make it, and Jar is now
Le ha dado
going over
segundo.
to the bot side of the map, has this Tunnel wall here to use for safety.
Ahí no puede hacer nada en superviviente, ¿vale?
And he vaults into him. Unfortunately, Jar's going to be taking the first down of the game. And we'll see if that's going to be a Scourge 1 gen does
Bien,
pop.
no, normal.
And we did have another one on the right side of the map that was pretty close. It should now be eating that Scourge Hook. Pain or Resonance. So Zaka has a rough idea of where those gens are being worked.
Qué roto cuando el gancho fragante de retumante eran infinitas veces, ¿eh? Qué locura. Madre mía, qué roto esa perk infinitas veces. Me parecía abrumado.
But
O sea,
has that first early down. 1 minute and 48 seconds. I think that was roughly
imagínate un gancho fragante meterlo 11 veces en la partida. Una locura.
roughly the same time as last game. So we're on par in terms of the last trial. But we're not going to be working over. We see some scratch marks. Of course, we want to be seeing how fast you can get that first elimination, but everybody was on this top side, so going to be a while at least for that unhook to come through.
Muy buena.
Jar's going to be sitting on the hook, and this is going to be an injury on Suck My Socks. Has the time and wants to go back, thinking there's a rotation coming now, which would make sense given the amount of time that's passed. And yeah, very good timing on the unhook for Zaka at least, because he's already found Jar. Has the bottle, the intoxication
Muy bien, muy inteligente.
slowing him down, and this is going to be a very fast down.
Brutal. Aquí Zaka se mete entre medias, para que el palet, y tiempo prestado se te va a tomar por culo. Muy bien.
Doesn't quite make it to that pallet, unfortunately. And is there another survivor around here? We're going to be checking. Tenacity going to be tried to be used, but that's going to be Jar taking his second stage at 4 gens remaining on this.
Y lo lleva aquí porque esta zona es difícil, digamos, rescatar y que se repente salga bien de la zona.
Hill hook as well, which is going to be relatively unsafe, to be honest, but bit of a rinse and repeat scenario. Oh, actually trying to see if there's someone in the corner there stealthing for that early unhook. Very nice game sense from Zaka there to really guess for, but yeah, no one going to be in that area. Clear that they rotated away. And we're still at 4 gens, still waiting for that second one to pop. And the game is completely in Zaka's control. He sees someone there trying to go down for the rotation. Looks like they were working that gen actually. Positionally. Gonna take a pallet smack to the face. Staffis was...
Lo ha tirado en plan muy rápido, yo creo. No, Zaka no se lo esperaba.
Holding that tower there, and two
Dos motores a la vez. Pues ya no me pueden hacer más motores.
gens pop. So doesn't look like they're interested in saving
Wow.
Joff. And
Muy bien equipo de SERAPH
now
ahí.
Safis looks like he was the only one positionally there ready, but
Buah.
since our survivor isn't injured,
No se pasa por no vigilar los motores,
we're
básicamente.
going to be going over to Shaq, and it looks
Pero bueno, va a hacer que Ja muera, seguramente. Ja debería morir en el gancho ahora mismo.
like
Gracias a esos dos motores que ha hecho su equipo.
Zach is trying to wait for a commit to the unhook before
Sí, de hecho lo venden, se están curando.
he goes through
Lo venden.
for the save, but doesn't seem like anyone
No, va a ser como Iván, lo van a vender, que flipas.
one's actually nearby for it. And we might be seeing an elimination at 2 gens remaining. So SERAPH showing us some good gen efficiency, punishing Zaka for
Ahí está, muerto.
those rotations, and he will be eliminated. So now we are in the 3v1 a little bit earlier, a little bit later than we were in the last trial.
Aquí así.
Acid taking the M1. Not able to see where that clown is, but playing the 50-50 around the pallets. Saka just getting information on where these gens are being worked on, and it seems to me like this game is just going so much faster than the last trial. And both on the survivor side and the killer side, he is zooming all over the map with these bottles. We do have eruption applied on 2 of these gens, and Acid not fully reset yet, but
Muy bien.
that's gonna be Sock My Sock taking an injury.
Vale, bien, me gusta lo
Flying
que
that
veo.
sloppy
Agarra
butcher.
el dragón.
Dragon Script
Pero creo que era Acid, así que no, digamos que no es one-shoteable porque está herido.
gonna be procking on that gen over there. And it was Acid, so injured survivor with exposed status, not really gonna do much except give you information on the
Efectivamente,
killer
es
side.
Acid.
But things are happening all over the place right now.
Uy, esa
We have that
botella.
loud noise notification over on that far side, and
¿Qué coño? Si ha golpeado la botella en el árbol. Hostia, vaya.
Zach is just gonna be checking gens
Bien.
and finds an injured survivor
Vale, no
crucially.
sepáis, no llega.
And do you have enough distance
El que le da mucho asco. Pues mira, era el de agarrar el dragón era este.
to make that? I don't think
No, estaba herido. Perdón, me fumo un porro, no he dicho nada.
you do.
El único que estaba bien es Zafis. Qué asco del payaso, una locura.
Getting that speed from the yellow bottle.
Lo están reparando allí, lo está viendo.
And we still have 3 stacks of pain res. Eruption applied on that survivor off in the distance, but sticking the gen maybe a bit too long. Now Zach is going to speed over. He isn't. He actually is just going to turn
Tiene
around
ganchos
and
para
go back
grandes
to the slope.
todavía, así que solamente puede aguantar la
Trying
partida.
to see how far that gen was, maybe. But this is actually quite bad. We found
No
Zach
sé por qué ha venido Zafis aquí, error suyo, error de Zafis venir aquí.
in the same area.
Error grande.
Is he going to commit to that? No rapid brutality to chase the survivor down.
What?
But Sock My Socks has actually been picked up.
O sea, que la viene el otro a curar.
This is good survivor play from SERAPH.
No os digo que es una mala jugada, pero es una jugada muy arriesgada. La verdad, venir a curar dos supervivientes al que está tirado. Muy arriesgado.
Yeah,
SERAPH waking up. They're waking up. SERAPH not allowing Zaka to make the speed run here. At
Muy bien, ahí
least
sus
we are
Mysox,
seeing some
ahí en el lupeo, muy
extra
bien.
aggression now from the survivor team, getting quicker onto the generators, trying to force the completion here.
Ahí están
And
volviendo.
also looking a bit more confidence in the chases, if you're asking me, but unfortunately it is still a difficult win condition. One
Muy
more
bien.
generator would only be the tie,
Perfecto.
but Acid going down here,
Aquí hay gancho flagelante.
and that means we can apply the regression onto this generator. Zaka preparing the pickup with the yellow bottle, taking the 13% extra speed. Hill hook as well. You can even
Ahí
take a
está.
little bit of an overview if you catch the survivor from here. It is a difficult 4-gen setup, so
Otra vez el rombo de la muerte, básicamente.
I'm still positive and optimistic towards SERAPH that they are going to take generator number 4 out of the way. But a tie is very realistic here, I feel like.
Le llega la botella y le interrumpe el descuelgue Yes ya. Y
He might even hit that bottle in order to prevent the unhook. Never mind, that's not going to be successful. So we have it down right here, but okay, I was about to say, if he really wanted to force it, I don't think that Acid would have made it far
gancho flagelante otra vez.
away, but just taking the hook stage here makes a lot of sense. Zaka with his 4-gen, can he pull the miracle? Is he able to show us something unbelievable? Potentially the second time stealing the win from SERAPH here. I somehow get the vibe, Zach, when I see Zaka like this.
Ooh.
I feel like he's gonna do it. He looks so confident and so happy with his clown. I feel like he's gonna do it.
Yeah, he's just lobbing. I was saying this, like it's so he's playing so fast. He's throwing bottles all over the place. They're hitting right in the right spots. The hit survivors. He's getting himself zooming across the map. It seems like a very confident play style, right? And
Ostras, bueno, sabía que estaba aquí.
it was a lot faster than last game, and like you say,
Muy buen mid-game, brutal.
he's setting up, and he actually gets the Dragon's Grip hit onto Zaphis. As far as I'm aware, he was healthy, unless I'm getting
Ahí hay uno y ahí hay
a
otro.
short-term memory loss of what I've just watched. Eruption proccing, and that's 12 seconds of aura reading on that survivor. It's going to be acid feeding over, and he's got a lot of sloppy butcher value. These survivors have not really had
Bueno, nos tiene correteando, el Zaka, qué cabrón.
many chances to reset, and you also have that sort of in tandem with Dragon's Grip too, so you're always having your survivors
curará?
just
¿La-
on the
la
verge of
tiempo?
the dying state. When you've got the speedy clown running for you, and it's Zaka, of course, one of the scariest killers in the game,
No,
at
yes.
least player-wise. As they're going to take the down, and Zaphis is still on the floor. Where is Suck My Socks, though? I'm
Le doy a curar.
picking up Zaphis
Le
is
doy
the
curas.
answer, but yeah, I mean, he is on track for at least the tie, but could potentially see the 4K2 as well. I mean, you've got them on the back foot now because they're having to just focus on picking each other up, right?
How long
Muy bien. Ahora la dejé encerradita, rompe el palet y Zafis al pozo. Bueno, al pozo, al gancho.
can this chase last? That's
Yeah,
the
superman.
question, ladies and gentlemen.
Very
I
lucky.
do think what's mentioned there with the pressure, it is great to see how they are trying, right? And it's great to see that, like, on paper, they are doing good decisions here. They are taking care of one another. They are trying to drag the killer away from the active gens. They are getting percentage after percentage into these objectives. It's just always like 5 seconds missing here, 3 seconds missing there, 7 seconds missing here, and unfortunately it kind of adds up. And unfortunately, it's going to be a tricky situation because Zaka still holding his 4-gen setup, still being with the win condition at the moment, taking the little bit of a speed here.
Yes.
Look at that precision, ladies and gentlemen. The yellow bottle towards the generator,
Me encanta, ladies and gentlemen.
and then on the
Me
pixel
encanta, brutal.
next to the tile, taking the little bit of speed here and going back after these survivors. That's going to be Edgemap and he now in chase doing the break. It's Zaka, he's known for it, he has the experience for it. And even a tie will feel okay, right? Because they have taken the plague. If you get a tie on Clown, okay, certainly not how NOKRON wants to walk out of this match here with having the chance to go into the pole position of the standings. You would rather prefer 3-0, but taking the Clown that was picked by SERAPH, getting a set point win and then the tie, completely okay, right? There's not going to be any bad mood
Muy bien.
in the voice
Ya la
chat
gancho para
of
adelante.
NOKRON
Muy
about
bien.
it.
Está jugando muy bien de toma de decisiones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zaka
No matter how this goes, whether it's a tie or
está brujuleando con ellos que flipas.
a win, he's definitely not going to lose, right? So either way, he's going to be feeling good, and going 2-0 up, of course, is best case scenario. This is his last Scourge hook, so that's even more aggression secured in this 4-gen. And again, that the resets aren't coming through.
No hay reparando
Survivors are
nadie.
staying injured, and
Nadie,
it's
nadie.
actually just giving Zaka so much pressure. You have to really give it where you're just all his M1 killers.
Va.
And has this nice little vantage point actually he's using to spot the survivors.
La han rescatado y habrán escapado en dirección contraria, ¿vale? Básicamente, pues no hay detrás de ellos.
But yeah, all 3 injured, so unless they pull together and get a good chase in, I don't think they're going to pop this 3rd gen or 4th gen.
Is it enough, ladies and gentlemen? Will it be possible?
Muy bien.
15
Ahí son como simplemente full doble, muy bien hecho.
minutes so far in this trial. There we can see how much they are fighting here. Zaka, as fast as he was during the mid game, now has to also be really careful with every single decision he's taking. One step too far away from the generators and they potentially get it done. On the other hand, the survivors need to reset, they need to pull back. Ultimately though, at some point we will reach that the generators have 8 kicks each. So it will be tricky to force them into regression. And if SERAPH is able to survive this long and is able to basically take that ability of regression away from Zaka, that's going to be
Muy bien esa botella para impedirle la caída.
a lot more difficult. But unfortunately, it is good time. He can only force them into picking up the slug, wasting some time with the travel across the map, with the healing basically, and Zaka racing after this survivor here with 13% together with the purple bottle. We are playing Mario sacrificing our life. The answer is no, because Sock My Socks is being picked up, and that means Zaka has more time. And you can see he instantly reacts to that, takes the time reloading his bottles because he knows he doesn't have to rush towards the generator. What a throw there over the wall of the tile, basically making sure that the survivor is getting hindered. Difficult mind game around the pallet. Acid going down. That's enough time now because we're picking up Zafis in the distance, but that's the next hook stage, this time in a much better location. And
y Acid sí que lo cuelga porque muere, obviamente, y ya contra dos pues lo tiene hecho.
Yeah, we have had a relatively is good and in moderation, but he's using it when he probably feels like he doesn't have enough time to hook, right? Which is the crucial thing because
no, ha saltado de fuera adentro, claro.
Of course, like the 4K2 is good, but he's doing it when he only knows that like he has to, when he's worrying about the gens or enough time.
Como suda de los supervivientes y lo importante es los motores, os fijáis, eso es una locura.
Pass where they could have been.
Planllera por ti cuando me interese. Yo voy a hacer mi trabajo.
On one for a bit too long. So it's almost like a point of experience because when he's playing around that time frame, then he can't really go wrong. And so I'm not surprised why he's sort of opting for this slower play style and just playing to the time that he has. But now we're in the 2v1. I really would be very surprised if they get that fourth gen done. If it wasn't looking likely before, it's definitely looking a lot less likely now. We found Zafis. We're going to be throwing that yellow bot for speed, and we do hear Sock My Socks as well, just in the corner.
Yeah, está aquí.
It looks like we're actually in the same area. That's Eruption going to be... See those scratch bots, but also here's the injured Nancy. So, yeah, I think that's going to be NOKRON taking the 2-0, Dyer.
Wow, they did it. They did it. That is so crazy, Zach.
Muy buena Zaka, brutal. O sea, pese a que el equipo de España estuvo sin uno a los 3 motores, 3 supervivientes, 3 motores, pudieron hacerle 2 motores más, que me parece increíble. Y aquí el equipo de SERAPH no han podido, ¿eh? Sí que Ja ha muerto temprano también en el gancho, pero tenían 2 motores. Eran 3 supervivientes, Acid, Sock My Socks y Zafis con 2 motores y no han podido hacerlos, ¿eh? Gracias a la toma de decisiones de Zaka, que ha estado, nada, brillante. O sea, brutal. Brutal. El desempeño de Zaka. Toma de decisiones han sido literalmente perfectas. Vale, probamos la siguiente partidita.
Welcome back, everyone.
Vale, va con este addon marroncito estirarse, ¿vale? Para los buenos Wesker, este addon es brutal porque hace que tu embestida sea un 50% más corta, que eso te viene muy bien para, digamos, tirar los suplentes hacia fuera del mapa y no tener tanta embestida que lo tienes así contra la pared y dejarles en una muy mala posición. El huevo también un addon súper fuerte que te da muchas posibilidades entre viajes, por así decirlo. El gancho para la gente se quedó doloroso, que esto es muy importante no tunelear con esta perk, ¿vale? Pero ya sabéis que esta perk al principio no la usarán, ¿vale? Esta perk será cuando queden 3 supervivientes, uno sí que va a ser triple tuneleado de puta madre, pero a partir de que sean 3 supervivientes, esta perk tendrá un muy buen uso gracias al tema de que le penaliza mucho en velocidad de reparación y de curación al que sale del gancho. Erupción, gancho plagio, erupción corpetana. Torre carbón, aquí el Wesker debe hacerse bastantes cuelgues, ¿vale? Bastantes.
To the Mastermind set. Set number 3, Nokron currently going strong with a 2-0, looking to make it 3-0 and complete a flawless first half of the Season X group stage. And we have Zaka, of course, on the Mastermind, master of the Mastermind, looking for a survivor in the corrupt area of the zone. As that actually has fast one, but the sprint that's going to be used, keeping Sox safe for just a second, but the nice bound coming in there, going to secure an injury. Taking Chase into the corner of the map or staying at this tower. Looks like Zaka maybe thinks he's still there. Yeah, looks like he's full W. Tried to make it up to this mid-filler pallet. Mind gaming on the short side, so not a safe place to be for Sock by Sox. And rightfully so. Trying to dive pallet. Is someone here for the save though? Zaka's just going to take a quick look around. And it looks like, yeah, it was Jar coming in for the save. It's going to take that M2 bounce.
Y el equipo de SERAPH que empiezan un poquito jodidos,
and come right back to the survivor on the floor. But that's going to cost them some pressure on the gens, at least in this first chase. 49 seconds on that first down dire.
That is an incredibly fast down, and we talked about it during the break. We said, well, it's Mastermind, so that's a good set for SERAPH, and then we came to the conclusion, yeah, well, but NOKRON has Zaka, so it doesn't matter really what killer we have on the table. So Zaka just continuing the streak, you can call it really. After the 2-0, they obviously want to take the 3-0 here, and that, I mean, that would even be more exciting than just taking the 4-0 in the standings and the pole position of Season X for now. Also claiming that pole position with a clean 3-0. That's kind of impressive. So Zaka obviously aiming towards that, and the survivor squad of NOKRON will be ready to continue that success as well. But SERAPH looked strong in these two sets. It was not a dominant sweep so far. It was more like close and yeah, pretty tricky at some point. So SERAPH definitely with a good chance here to make something happen for them. Sock my Socks, basically half-time on that first hook stage.
Está a tope con el virus.
We have a 3-gen up there on the cold tower, as per usual, we could say.
¿Cómo controla la zona allá?
Zaka monitoring the furthest progress generator together with the hook stage, getting the power ready already for an instant dash in case he finds someone.
Pues no llegan al primer stage, no llegan.
We see a pretty good map control, just like in the previous trial. Really like to see them, and Zaka has been very successful with it. So yeah, second stage even on 5. No, never mind, 4 gens.
They just got in your way with that one. It was almost a 5-gen second stage, but yeah, they heard you and they're like, no, actually it's 4 gens. But we actually see Survivor there. Trying to rotate for the unhook, and Zaka's got complete control of the map right now. Like you said, has this long range sort of distance across the map, and that's 2 gens pops. He has relatively decent information on where the survivors are. Rotation's going to come through, but not soon enough. Sock my Socks might be going down, eliminated. I feel like it's going to be really bad for SERAPH if they let the survivor die, but Zaka very nicely not letting them do it. So this is very, very good setup coming into the early game. Only 2 gens completed so far, and no real sight of maybe how that last one.
Cuidado porque con Wesker te puede echar hacia afuera y no llegas, hay que tener mucho cuidado con él.
That third one's coming along.
Muy bien, aquí han venido 2, muy bien.
Confirmation there. 2 people coming in for the save.
Muy bien.
Final survivor on the last, well, the 3rd gen. And
Pero Sock My Socks va a disfrutar un tuneleo muy fresco.
They do get the save onto Sock My Socks. So 2 gens left, and they need to protect this tunnel out, but this pallet wasn't used. So we do have a bit of safety left.
Buah, brutal, tío. Brutal, literalmente.
But unfortunately, Sock My Socks is going to take the M2. Not enough reflexes. Maybe a bit of ping difference there showing. But Mastermind and pallets, those 2 usually don't jump well together in terms of hitboxes. So unfortunate there, taking the elimination. And now Zaka has probably a good idea of how much progression's on the map dire, so I think he's probably going to be chilling now, especially when he's got 2 survivors injured.
Muy bien haces aquí,
2 survivors injured, looking for more elimination
buena pick,
already
madre mía.
done. How
Qué
many
rico.
gens can they complete, and will they take stages out of the door here? Acid has shown us a few good chases so far today, so hopefully being
there it
able,
is.
nice fake attempt there, but I don't think that's going to
There
be
it is.
enough for, cannot go for
Falta
instant
para que
downs
de-
left and right here. That's definitely going to be beneficial for Team SERAPH. Zaka now speeding down towards the bottom side. Difficult generator setup. Not a great region, and basically a 2-2 split up across the west and east side of the coal tower here. Checking the midsection will be interesting to see where these survivors are located. Hiding behind
Están
the
muy
box here,
jodidos, Purientes,
close to the midsection in order to
jodidos.
get towards the needed unhook. Jar has to leave the generator as Zaka now coming all the way down here, so Zaf is successfully hiding. Perfect timing now to get the unhook, getting the 3.
Ahí el pico te protege que flipas contra el bosque.
Third survivor back in, and Zaka bouncing into the box there. That's now the chance for Team SERAPH to make a comeback. No one on a hook. Acid back in the game. Jar even healthy, so that has potential for quite an
Muy bien, Haki.
impressive chase here, and realizing after Zaka gets over the pallet that the window is in reach, so not forcing that one loop with the tunnel vision. Instead,
Ooh.
awareness for the surroundings. Yeah,
Dios
hello,
mío.
Jar, delivering the juice right
Buah, se ha comido el full W. Se ha comido el full W enterito.
there. Maybe he wants
Se ha arriesgado mucho al hacer eso, pero le ha salido de puta madre.
to start at Uber Eats
Sí,
with
sí.
delivering
Tú
so
sigues
much
sacando,
juice here.
se ha ido hace
Bamboozling
media hora.
Zaka even. That's such an amazing chase. We have the unhook, we
Muy bien, Ja, muy bien.
have the healing,
That's muy
we
bien.
have the survivor wasting time for not even taking an injury. That was MVP chase right there.
Yeah, and then he left the tile, and Zaka was chasing his demons, I think, there for like a full 5-10 seconds. So absolutely insane pathing from Jar there. Not securing, not conceding any form of injury, and giving his team time to get back on their feet, and all of that pressure that Zaka had just there, completely gone. So he's going to need to get that back with a
Full W, dame tu full W.
quick chase here, potentially tease the scratch marks going around the hill.
Cómo joden los full W, joden que te cagas.
Oh, and just good pathing from these survivors. Second chase in a row. And Zaf is pathing around the hill. Oh, good mind game there.
Uf,
Smiling
parece que la
survivor, but
primera,
we've got 2 survivors over here at the shack.
Solo tampoco se interesa.
Still 2 gens remaining. So they just need to regain that pressure a little bit. But yeah, Zaka has a pretty good setup here in terms of gens, but knows
La sombrita se la he visto por aquí.
where the survivors are. So
Muy
he's got to make
bien.
this decision.
Muy
But
bien.
unfortunately,
Se ha adelantado muy bien.
Jar's luck ran out, and he vaults into Zaka, not winning that mind game, winning too many in a row. Unfortunately, that one there is not going to work out for him. Takes the injury, but Zaka now seeing the 2 survivors trying to work this gen here, and yeah, the game seems to be a little bit slow in this 3v1. Fair.
Yeah, the next few moments here are going to be very decisive, right? It's going to be a decisive strike, basically. Hopefully a strike onto the backs of the survivors when we are talking from Zaka's POV, but SERAPH here currently still working on their comeback a little bit and trying to get as much pressure into the gens as possible. Jar trying to bait out the dash from Zaka, but too much experience and patience on the side of the killer here. That's going to be the unfortunate pain rush now coming in though. And these are the things that then cannot happen, unfortunately. When you have the chance to put Zaka under some pressure, when you can waste the time on the killer side, then you also need to make sure that you really, really use that opportunity and that you are not, unfortunately, taking a pain rest like that. However, Zaka moving away from the hook stage again, so one of the survivors could rotate around taking the unhook. We're finding Acid here though. That's going to be...
Aquí error de Zaka, primer error de...
Oh, not going to be the injury. Staying healthy. Jar being rescued in the distance. And how good can Acid run? Can we get time for the Gen?
¿Veis para estos? ¿Veis que el empuje ha sido muy cortito? Ha sido por el lado.
The answer is no, and unfortunately Acid is thrown towards the outside of the map. That looks like
Y porque tiene que ir equilibrada, si no estaría muerto básicamente.
a balanced landing there, since he's looking for the hill. Good escape out of a difficult
Muy
situation.
buena, perfecto.
But again, Zaka showing his patience, going for a confident dash. Yeah, it does feel more like we are talking about how many generators, Zach.
Yeah. Nice. I want to point out that little throw there onto Acid with his beta add-on, where it ends the throw faster, really contributed to that quick down because it sacrificed like he lost a lot of distance basically on that throw. So really nice add-on value there coming out. And yeah, you're right. It's really a question if they can get the 4th gen because it just seems like Zaka's all over them
Van a tener que venir otra vez dos para rescatar a Acid.
right now, and the resources are gradually whittling down, getting
poco a
less
poco.
and less. Actually sees Jar behind that rock, but not able to land the bounce. Good patience from the survivor side to avoid that. But now we're in this awkward situation.
No ha hecho
You have
falta dos
Jar
por-
over that
por
TNL,
sabotar,
and
Moto.
the hook comes through from Zaphis. So you don't have survivors on a gen. You have time now to commit a chase.
Oh,
How's
ha
it gonna
fallado
work?
aquí.
No,
Zaka.
unfortunately, doesn't get the angle
Fallado.
on the pallet there. Acid's gonna live to see another day, and this is a relatively safe rock to run, the God Rock. Zaphis now coming in for the hit. Will he be able to get it?
Muy buena.
He does. He protects Acid. Acid's gonna live to see another day.
La quita de camino en plan, cucaracha, fuera de aquí.
Zaphis only taking an injury. We're now running into the area where the gens are being worked, and
Muy buena.
Acid's gonna go down. Eruption's gonna proc.
Muy buena, sí señor.
And we're going to have yet another hook stage on the board. Jar now 50% on the gen. Zaphis just starting another one.
Úsala.
But now
No
we're in
creo
a
que reparen
2v1
más, no
with
creo.
2 gens remaining. So what do you gens now? Do you think they're going to be done? I don't know. That's actually reached its regression limit died. But yeah, like that's now changed things for the survivors.
Yeah, I would hope that we see at least generator number 4, right? Because a tie in the next trial
Brutal. Como mira para arriba para los petardos, como aguanta. También gracias al lado del huevo,
will still be the win for Nokron. Because if we tie, then the only thing Seraph is doing basically
Muy bien ahí,
is
ja.
keeping it on a 2-0. But
Ha hecho muy buenas chases, la
if
verdad.
they would tie, we don't
Okay,
need to
Mohammed.
play set 4 because there's no chance anymore to turn it into a 2-2.
Hostia,
So
Zaphis con entorpecimiento, está jodido.
then it's just over. And that means that they definitely need to win, which would be a 4K3 for the upcoming trial against Nokron's survivor team. That would be one hell of a task. So hopefully getting generator number 4 out of the way.
cómo se está jugando,
That
chaval.
way you can 4K2
muy
just
bien
like
Zaphis,
Zaka is almost
Muy bien
achieving
Zaphis,
right now. And that sounds a lot better here. So getting generator number 4 would basically make a huge impact regarding the win condition. So hopefully they can get that done. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a Seraph wall tattoo at home, or you have made a tattoo on your back with the Seraph logo because you just turned
Cuidado,
18 and your
cuidado,
parents
que te lo
cannot
hacen.
stop you anymore, then it's time to get that out now. Show it on the balcony to your neighbors because they need the support so desperately. We need a generator desperately. We need something.
Lo va a hacer,
Anything.
Se lo va a hacer,
They'll
se lo va a
actually
hacer.
get it.
Whatever it is,
They're gonna get
we
it.
need it, and they do. Thank God, they are hearing my words. Someone
Una
presented their
interrupción, pues se
Seraph tattoo on the balcony.
Yeah, he kicked the
Yeah, I get it.
regression on them.
Ahí está la actriz última.
8 regression events gone
There
into
you go.
that gen, and it feels like this trial's gone quite quickly. So that came through just like we had a bit of a slow mid game, but honestly, yeah, able to get that last the 4th gen done. And I mean, I know Zaphis is in chase now, but yeah, like you said, that 4K1, but you have the 4K2 win condition. It's a little bit better if you're Seraph.
Ya que estás muerto. Aquí no puedes hacer nada.
And so, best of a bad situation there.
Al
to get
fondo.
against the
Pues 4 motores, bastante bien, la verdad. Bastante bien. Pero bueno, se puede ganar, ¿eh? Se puede ganar. Si el otro equipo hace 3 motores, como ha pasado en la otra partida del payaso, pues yes. Vale. En este caso, Sockma y Sox, si le hacen los 5 motores, han ganado la partida. Automáticamente, ¿vale? Va con el huevo y con el medallón de unicornio. Este para mí es mi favorito, es más fácil de usar. Simplemente el primer dash te lo alarga más y el segundo dash te lo hace más corto, ¿vale? Es un addon que te hace dar muchas sorpresas con tu primer viaje, por así decirlo. Y con VBT y lleva fuerza brutal en vez de la de gancho flagelante, obsequio doloroso. Porque viene muy bien para las clases, para, digamos, ser más opresivo todavía.
We were worried a little bit, but here he is. Dark Lord would be our set number 4 in this case, but as we mentioned, not going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the task now for My Socks getting that win and making sure we can have some success and maybe moving towards getting a point out of Nokron here. My Socks needs a 4K with 2 generators standing. 4K 1 gen will not be enough.
¿Por qué poco, eh? Por muy
It
poco.
would stay with a 2-0 then. And that's an unfortunate first dash here, not finding the injury of that survivor. Ivan moving towards the top side. Let's see if the legend can go for the 3 fillers, 3 minutes.
No, mal
As
aquí.
he's very off. They're doing it.
Pero muy bien Iván, como se mete para la izquierda, se esconde, se mete para la derecha, se esconde, tal, parece uno, pero Iván aquí ha hecho que falle eso como hizo.
But Ivan slipping through these boxes here, making sure an injury isn't possible. Fantastic first chase, Zach. This is how someone looks
Aquí
like
ya
who wants to
no llega.
walk to the top of the standings.
Tenía solo uno, ¿verdad?
Making sure an injury isn't possible. Fantastic
Sí.
first chase, Zach.
all 4 of their matches, we see such confident survivor
Vale, tiro el
performance.
palet,
And then you
aquí
have
del
Zakis
infinito.
on a
Bueno, infinito,
really
¿me
strong
entendéis?
killer
Es
performance
infinito si no
too,
rompe
to
el
back
palet
it
del
up. And
killer.
no matter how their killer or survivor performance goes, either side just like supports the other, you
El
know?
Wesker este le veo un poco peor que Zaka, la verdad.
You have a bad killer result, let's just get an even better survivor result to really nail it home. And yeah, they're showing really good
Y mientras están los motores, mira, pum, pum, pum.
skills and
Son 2 motores, también os digo.
confidence so early on into Season X. But I'm very interested to see how they, I guess, perform against the top teams in the table in the second half of the group stage. Of course, Ivan now
Qué rico.
going to be dodging out, and he doesn't get the bound. He very masterfully sidesteps that.
Buah. Menudo éxito aplastante. Encima con todo el mapa de cara. Nada, brutal.
Gonna get the smash hit as well. Back over to main building, and this is a first chase right now. My Socks taking it
Llega.
to the absolute probably worst place you can. Committing chase over here. Now you for the 4% slowdown now on the M2, but this is a 2-gen
Y aquí
chase
ya va a
so
caer,
far.
¿vale?
Third one being worked on, and this is not the early game you want if you want to secure a 4K2, because you are 1 gen away, or 2 gens
Aquí
away
ya
from that tie.
caerá.
But 1 gen away. I suppose 2 gens away from the loss, to be honest. Even if it is a tie condition, you are going to lose
Porque poco se llega a esconder aquí entre las cajas hubiese sido God,
that
literalmente.
set like we talked about.
Nada, pues gracias a esta chase ya han ganado la partida, ¿vale? Es una chase muy larga. Ya Cineos y Marcos llevan el motor casi por la mitad.
But that is Ivan
Ah, no, que son motores diferentes. Vale, pues llevan 2 motores por casi la mitad.
finally going down.
Wow.
What a chase.
Y es primer cuelgue, o sea... Muy bien,
That
Iván.
is
Te has pegado
very
el
late
penalti
considering the win
simplemente.
condition, unfortunately. 2 minutes 36, much longer, an entire minute compared to the previous trial, which is basically 1 generator for a double up for free due to Ivan's very good first chase, and the survivors all 3 cranking the generators in the distance. So that's really
Encima los motores están muy separados. Creo que eso es imposible. Yo creo que se van mínimo 3 en la
really
partida.
difficult here for My Socks, especially that shack generator, for example. Dangerous tile to go into a shack chase with. You can really lose a lot of time there. The survivors drag you far away from the active generators. This generator over here has a lot of progress as well. And just between these 2 gens, you could already
No, ahí no
waste a lot
puedes.
of time.
Esta roca es imposible hacer
But
eso.
just going back and forth, and that's basically
Hostia, aquí Zinox, error.
20% of the map here. Zynox taking the injury, running towards the shack. So the survivors now joining back onto the objectives on the left side, on the top side.
¿Qué cojones ha hecho esos aquí? Si Marcos estaba aquí herido. No sé cómo le ha tirado el palete el compañero.
They can feel
Aquí Sok muy mal.
the chance for a victory here. Marcos coming in, gets the vault in time. The shack pallet needs to be destroyed. Zach, that should be 2 generators coming out soon. And that should be Nokron taking a clean 3-0 here.
Yeah, absolutely. And given the strong chase at the start, SockMyTox has had to just force himself to go for these chases and get these people off the gens because it's all he can do. But this is 4 powerful survivors. It's not just one. It's such an insurmountable task that he's got to face, and nothing seems to be connecting right now. It's absolutely going disastrous. And like you said, I think this is going to be the win secured. I mean, it's just a matter of time. That's going to be the 3rd gen popping now. He cannot let any further gens go, but you've only got 1 stage on the board so far.
Muy buena. Aquí quizá que se puede hacer el exterior porque los Weskers suelen ir pegados a la pared, pero aquí son muy seguros.
Gets a nice little bound there onto Zaka, but playing this
Ya
chase
está, le han hecho otro motor más.
into
Ya está.
this side of the map.
Es muy
It's
larga,
just a matter of
pasa,
time
pasa.
now until that 4th gen pops.
aquí Zaka
Gets a nice little mind game on Zaka. Nice,
ha ido muy de cara al pared, ni siquiera estaba mirando para adelante.
nice decent chase. But is it enough? You have 3
A lo mejor confiaba en que llegaba, pero no llegaba.
stacks of Paymers left to use. Do you even make it to this hook in time? We're shaking our head at Zynox over there.
Yeah, I was
Fine,
thinking for a
empate,
second, maybe
y
they
dos para
now
la
also
victoria.
start taking body blocks here. And maybe they are now pulling the bully swift out, but that's going to be the rescue in time. No trade. Perfect timing here. Ivan taking the aggro.
No llegas.
Sock my socks, not able to get the down right here. Would have been huge to jump from the hill all the way towards the main building. Zynox getting interrupted on the generator here. Now the only danger that I see is that Nokron gets a little bit too confident so far. It does still look very organized, but we have seen a few examples also in Season 10, right? Sometimes you feel like it's only 1 more generator, so we can be a little bit more confident.
Tía, fallado eso de puto milagro, madre mía.
And then it's backfiring a little bit.
Y Zinox no sé cómo no tiró el pared, la verdad, se ha arriesgado muchísimo.
But Zynox here with a great chase as well, pulling the killer all the way towards the bottom side.
Muy bien, aquí Zinox.
Difficult mind game, goes for it, and ladies and gentlemen, there's the decision.
Ya está
Now
luego.
is the question, will it be
Ahí no puedes hacer nada, ¿vale? Ahí.
a
Nada.
2-0 or a
Nada, otro motor
3-0?
menos.
But the winner is decided. Nokron taking it, ladies and gentlemen, and that also means that Nokron is with 12 points and a clean 4-0 at the top of the standings.
Yeah, congratulations to them. It's got to feel good, especially when you know your competitors in the top 4 have already taken set ties, set losses. So that's going to set them up so nicely going further into the group stage. But what an awesome showing. And I mean, if you would have asked me at the start, you know, which team we're going to be taking a clean sheet, I honestly wouldn't have said Nokron.
Las otras partidas han estado igualadas, pero esta ha sido paliza gitana.
But they've really surprised me.
O sea, es así.
And I guess how they measure up against those top teams later into the league season, if they can double down on this absolutely insane performance so far in Season X, then yeah, it's going to be really nice to see. And just not measuring the distance properly there, it's going to take a bit of a whiff. But following at the M2, are they going to get that last gen done? And really, you can't commit too much to chases because of how little time he has. They're going to be working all of these gens together. These last gens.
Si hubiese saltado rápido, quizá no le da el hit, pero saltando a medio bar le da 100%.
Ouroboros and injuries on 2 survivors. Zach remains healthy, but as each second goes by, we're getting closer to that 3-0 dire.
Closer and closer towards the 3-0 indeed.
Ya se había perdido, ya está de coña.
Just having fun.
Ivan getting the pallet back up. And that was good.
Se deja tirar y la hacen el último motor.
Final
Pues ya
generator
está.
coming out while we're watching this friendly interaction here between the two teams. Very good to see that. Obviously, you can imagine a lot of these players scrimming match between these two teams. And one thing we have to say, as much as NOKRON deserves credit because they win 3-0 and they are at the top of the standings, so I don't think we need to highlight that they deserve credit. SERAPH made it very entertaining. We had some close matches and they played a lot better than the 3-0 sounds like.
Yeah, and I think
Muy
that's
bien.
been
¿Ves cómo la embestida es muy larga? Porque no lleva seado, ¿vale?
the theme throughout. I don't think we've really point of view and what I've seen so far.
Vale, Zaka está ahí en el
These
ganchito.
sets are so close. These
Está muy
teams
tranquilo.
are so measured out
Y ya está. Y se van
each
atrás.
other. Getting Zaka there. And the rest of the team leads, but yeah,
Hostia.
impressive to see, but
Ahí se hacen el deslizamiento. Pues ya está. 3-0 para NOKRON. Nada, han jugado muy bien los oponentes de NOKRON. Es increíble, la verdad. Sobre todo Iván y Zaka. Y Zaka de Killer intratable. Intratable. O sea, está a un muy alto nivel. O sea, increíble. Esta partida sí que ha sido paliza. De hecho, mira, son muy los prestigios del Wesker. Pero no sé, no lo he visto mecánicamente a la altura, la verdad. Y si hacen clases largas, pues comes polla en tema de motores, no se puede hacer nada. Y nada, que espero que os haya gustado la partidita, chicos, el análisis. Y nada, comentadme qué os ha parecido. Si os place, claro, obviamente. Y nada, nos vemos mañana con un partidito del Mundial. ¡Mua! Hasta mañana, chavales. Chau, chau.